There has been a trend circulating online in which women have been asked, who would you prefer to be alone in the woods with? A man or a bear? Surprisingly, a good portion of women said they choose the bear over the man. Their reasoning? Bears are predictable. They kill out of instinct. They kill to survive. The worst thing that a bear can do is kill them. One woman's answer, quote, bear 100%. In the unlikely event that a bear attacks you, at least you'll be believed, unquote. Another, quote, they won't ask me what I was wearing if a bear attacks me. There are so many ideas of what it means to be a woman. They are seen as housewives, as mothers, and as caregivers, compassionate, dainty, feminine. They are also seen as accessories, the property of the men in their lives, objects, things to champion. Women are first seen for their bodies before they are seen as human beings. This is known as objectification. People don't truly understand the meaning of objectification. They may know that it exists and that women face it all the time, but they don't truly realize how disgusting and degrading objectification really is. The Cambridge Dictionary defines objectification as, quote, to treat a person like a tool or toy as if it has no feelings, opinions, or rights of their own, unquote. The computer or phone you're looking at is an object that has no feelings. But imagine being treated the same way you would treat a computer. Only it's worse for women. They aren't just treated like a computer, they are treated as objects whose sole purpose are sexual goals for men, otherwise known as sexual objectification. And unfortunately, the idea of sexual objectification has been far too glossed over. It has become so normal that instead of punishing men for it, the blame is placed on women, and we're the ones who have to fix it. Take dress code, for example. One of the biggest reasons why dress codes are implemented in schools is because men objectify women. Female students can't show their stomachs or too much of their shoulders, while the biggest issue with male students is pulling their pants up. Male students can play sports shirtless, but female students can't even show their shoulders. This objectification leaves a negative impact on women themselves. Living in a society in which objectification has become so normal causes women to start seeing themselves for their bodies first, as objects first. This can lead to self-body shaming or even more mental and physical health problems like depression or an eating disorder. This objectification is what causes so many women to unknowingly hyper-focus on their appearances, believing that is more important than themselves as a person. This self-monitoring can lead to feelings of shame or anxiety. Furthermore, because objectification has become such a normal part of life, some women see it as, quote, harmless or even complimentary, unquote. On the flip side, those who have experienced harassment from sexual objectification are trapped with the constant fear of sexual assault or rape. To understand why this is such an important issue, here are some statistics. Around 18 million women have experienced vaginal rape in their lifetime. This is more than double the population of New York City. Quote, 1 out of 6 American women have been the victim of an attempted or completed rape in their lifetime, unquote. Quote, 34% of victims of sexual assault are under the age of 12, unquote. In a recent study conducted by Medium author Tony Crow, fathers of young girls were asked the same bear versus man question, and nearly all of them chose the bear. If a dad wouldn't want his daughter to be left alone with a man for fear of what he might do, doesn't that say something? According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAINN, quote, only 310 out of every 1,000 sexual assaults are reported to the police, unquote. This is because, similar to how women internalize objectification, the victims of sexual assault often blame themselves for what happened. They are too scared of the consequences that they might face if they do speak up. Most don't want to believe or relive what happened, so they just internalize it. And the worst thing is that even if they do speak up for themselves, they aren't always believed, and their cases are dubbed unfounded. Rain states that in the 310 cases that are reported, only 50 of them lead to arrests. The rest get to walk free. Imagine how you would feel if you were violated, knowing that the person who assaulted you is still walking around today and could do it again. Most women experience some form of sexual trauma after being assaulted. Short-term effects include fear, anxiety, and withdrawal, which can last anywhere from a couple of months to several years. Long-term effects include depression, sexual dysfunction, substance usage, suicidal thoughts, and PTSD. Activities the victim used to enjoy may now trigger flashbacks or panic attacks. Another possible result of rape is an unwanted pregnancy caused by their rapist. And now with Roe v. Wade being overturned and made illegal in many states, most women have to give birth to the child of their rapist. In 2021, Sarah Everard was suddenly gained popularity on social media. Why? Because she was kidnapped, raped, and then killed by a police officer while walking home in London. The officer lied and told her that she was being placed under arrest. The officer, quote, raped and strangled her, burned her body, and dumped a builder's bag containing her remains in a pond. All she was doing was trying to walk home. In response to Sarah Everard's rape and murder, the Kill All Men trend gained popularity on social media. The slogan was used as a way for women to express their anger and cope with the trauma that many men have left behind. The saying, "Kill all men," expresses how so many men have done despicable things and that we should, quote, kill all of them. The saying doesn't actually want to promote killing men, but rather the idea of conventional masculinity. However, men didn't see it from that perspective, and the "not all men" trend gained popularity. This slogan was used to defend men and express how it isn't all men who are doing these horrible things. All this is really doing is taking the focus off the real issue, that there are men out there doing these horrible things, and making it about the men who are innocent. Women know that it isn't all men that do these horrible things, and know that there are plenty of men in the world that would never think to harm a woman. But there are enough out there that do, that cause women to be wary of all men. Here's an analogy. Imagine someone gives you a plate of brownies and tells you that some of them have poop in them. Aren't you going to be wary of the whole plate? Just because not all men assault women doesn't mean that we don't have a right not to trust them right away. Because of the world we live in, we have to walk with keys in between our fingers to defend ourselves. We can't walk home at night by ourselves. We have to check around and inside of our cars to make sure no one is hiding in or around it. We have to have our location shared with someone in case we get kidnapped. We have been told that we shouldn't run with a ponytail because they are easy to grab. We have to guard our drinks to make sure that they don't get spiked. We have been told to leave pieces of our hair and our fingerprints in Ubers if we don't feel safe. We have been told to shout fire instead of help, since that will draw more attention. Women have been told that after arriving to their apartment to keep the lights off for 10 to 15 minutes so that if someone is following them home, they wouldn't be able to find out which apartment they live in. Why is this what we have to do just to live? The first step towards finding a solution to this issue is realizing how big of an issue it really is. Ask a woman, any woman, how she feels walking home at night to truly understand the life that we live. I can almost 100% guarantee that any woman that you might ask will tell you how scared she feels, the constant worry and fear they feel. If you ask a man how he feels walking home at night, nearly all of them will say that they feel fine. Unfortunately, there isn't one easy fix to stop this issue. However, here are some small things one can do to help. Don't blame a victim of sexual assault. It is normally a person's first response to ask the victim what they were wearing. Instead of placing the blame on the victim, be there for them and give them support. Encourage them to speak up about what happened rather than hide. Look out for your female friends and make sure that if they're leaving somewhere by themselves, that they make it home okay. Do things to make a woman feel more comfortable. If you're walking behind a woman who's walking by herself, consider crossing the road and putting some distance between you. Put yourself in a position where she can see you. Educate your sons so they won't grow up to take advantage of women. Make this world a better place so we don't have to feel scared just to live.